Kia ora tamariki mā. This book is called Beware of Teachers. Beware of Teachers by Tony Blundell. The wolf's larder was empty, with not even a nettle or a slug to chew on. As for a nice plump boy or girl, he hadn't seen one for weeks. But as his tummy rumbled, he started to think, where were all the children? At school, of course. Well, they're not at the moment, are they? Just some of them are at school. But hopefully soon you'll all be able to come back to school, and I can't wait. That's where I'll find lots of children to gobble up, he said. So the wolf went to school. All the children were lining up in the playground, so the wolf trotted over and joined the end of the line. The boys and girls eyed him warily. But the wolf put all thoughts of breakfast out of his mind and gave them his most angelic smile. Just then the bell rang and they all went inside. When the teacher saw the wolf, she clapped her hands and smiled. "Why, I see we have a visitor joining us today," she said. "How very nice." "But, Miss, said the children. "Miss, please, Miss." "He has a big bushy tail," said a boy. "And very pointy ears," said a girl. "And a big mouth full of very sharp." "That's quite enough, children," said the teacher. "I'm sure we will all do our best to make our visitor feel very welcome." And she smiled again at the wolf. "Do take a seat, Mr. Wolf," said the wolf. "Well, what an interesting name. Do take a seat, and we will begin our lessons." The wolf sat down obediently, but the chair was rather small, and he had to tuck his tail through the hole in the back. The children were already working hard, but however the wolf tried, his pencil didn't seem to work. No words or numbers came out the end of it, just scribbles and squiggles. He looked around at the boys and the girls, licked his lips. He was beginning to feel quite peckish. After what seemed a very long time, a bell rang and all the children ran out into the playground. "Aha," said the wolf, "dinner time!" And he raced off after them. "Yummy, yummy, yummy, who's first in my tummy?" sang the wolf, and he chased the boys and the girls round the playground. But try as he might, the wolf couldn't catch any of them. "Bother!" he panted, as skipping ropes tangled his legs, arms, and got tangled all around him. "Bother again!" he gasped, as footballs rolled under his feet, and "oh!" he grunted as he finally went crashing to the ground. When the wolf opened his eyes, he found himself surrounded by excited children. "Right, Wolfie," they said. "We know who you are, and we know that you want to gobble us all up." "Oh, not all," said the wolf, not wanting to appear greedy. "Well, you won't be able to eat any of us like that, will you?" said the children. "We could untie you, Mr. Wolf, if you promise one thing." "Go and gobble up our teacher instead," said a girl. One teacher sounded better than no children, so the wolf agreed. "She would make a much better meal than any of us," said the boy. Very carefully, the children untied their skipping ropes, and a rather confused wolf staggered off towards the classroom. Poor teacher, I hope she's hiding. Just as he got there, the bell rang and the teacher called the children back inside. The wolf looked round for somewhere to hide. Aha, he thought, I can hide in here, and when the teacher opens the door, he licked his lips. Yummy, 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 teacher in my tummy. He pulled open the door and leapt into the teacher's store cupboard. Big mistake. It was very dark, and the wolf's feet landed right in a box of marbles. "Oh!" he said as his feet slid out from under him, and "ah!" as he did a perfect somersault, and "ah!" as all the paint tops, glitter and glue showered down on top of him. When the wolf opened his eyes, he found the teacher looking down at him, and she didn't look pleased. "Well, really, Mr. Wolf," she said, "what a terrible mess! A store cupboard is not really the place for gymnastics. You are not a very clever wolf, are you?" The not very clever wolf looked up at the teacher's cross face and her waggy pointy finger. He had suddenly lost his appetite. "I do believe, Mr. Wolf, that you were planning to leap out and gobble me up, but that wouldn't be very smart of you, would it? I am just a skinny teacher. Well, not so skinny. Our headmaster is waiting outside for us, and he is big and fat and round. If you were clever, Mr. Wolf, you would eat him up instead." That doesn't sound like our principle, does it? When the children saw the bedraggled wolf emerge from the cupboard, they started to giggle. "Children," said the teacher sharply, "where are our manners?" "Mr. Wolf has made himself a lovely costume," she said, giving the children a big wink. "He looks perfect to help us with our country dancing." And saying that, she lined the boys and girls up, with the rather puzzled wolf at the back, and they skipped out onto the field where the principal was waiting for them. The wolf was starting to feel quite peckish again, and he was looking forward to meeting and eating a big fat headmaster. The headmaster beamed a big welcoming smile. "Good afternoon, boys and girls," he said. "I see we have a guest. You are very welcome, Mr. Wolf," said the wolf. "And how clever of you to come dressed as the King of the May." The wolf swelled with pride. He had never expected to become king just by going to school. "And now," said the headmaster or principal, with a little bow, "if your Majesty would be so kind as to hold these ribbons above his head, we can begin our dance." So the wolf took one end of the ribbons, and the boys and girls grabbed the other, and the music started to play. And this reminds me of when all the cousins, when Omar came to do country lovely dancing. Suddenly the wolf was surrounded by dancing children. His tummy was feeling very empty indeed. The children danced round and round the hungry wolf, skipping in and out and around each other, the boys dancing one way and the girls the other. And the more they danced, the closer they got to the wolf. He licked his lips. "Just a little closer," he thought, "and I can grab as many as I like before moving on to the main course." Round and round danced the children, round, and rumble, rumble went the wolf's tummy, until at last he could resist it no longer. "Time for a bite to eat," he said to himself as he prepared to pounce. It was at this moment that the wolf realized that he couldn't move at all. He was bound from head to toe in ribbons. All he could do was wrinkle his nose, wiggle his toes, and before he could think what to do next, the music stopped and a bell rang somewhere in the school. "Hooray! Home time!" shouted the children, and they raced away towards the school gates. "Well, goodbye then, Mr. Wolf," said the teacher. "Thank you so much for visiting us. It's been most entertaining. Do come again," she said. "If you're not too tied up," added the headmaster. And away they walked across the field, laughing. The wolf watched them go. "Bother," he said. Very much later, one bedraggled, bewildered, bad-tempered, and very hungry wolf hopped miserably home in the moonlight. "Grrr! If this is what school is all about," growled the wolf as he headed slowly back to his cave. "It's surprising those children learn anything at all. But they do, don't they?" Good afternoon, Tamariki Ma. See you tomorrow.